In a world where every bite shapes our destiny, the choices we make at the table carry profound consequences. Each year, millions of years of vibrant, healthy life are lost, not to disease alone, but to the silent impact of dietary habits. Research shows that what we eat may account for nearly 20 times the global burden of healthy life lost compared to physical inactivity. This staggering reality places poor nutrition at the top of the list as humanity's deadliest habit, surpassing even tobacco use. The Global Burden of Disease Study, a monumental effort involving hundreds of researchers and thousands of data sources, has revealed a sobering truth. The modern diet is the leading cause of death worldwide. Smoking, once the undisputed villain of public health, now ranks second. Our food choices shape not only how long we live, but also how well we live, influencing everything from chronic illnesses to mental sharpness and overall vitality. The cornerstones of optimal nutrition. What does it mean to eat well? Across decades of research, 4 pillars consistently emerge as the foundation of a health-promoting diet: fruits, vegetables, whole grains, and legumes. These foods form the bedrock of longevity and resilience, offering protection against some of the most pervasive diseases of our time. Conversely, diets heavy in processed foods, refined grains, and animal products have been linked to higher risks of illness and premature aging. Imagine your body as a garden. Fruits and vegetables are the sunlight and rain, nourishing growth and vitality. Whole grains act as the rich soil, providing stability and energy. Legumes serve as the roots, anchoring the system with protein and fiber. Together, they create an ecosystem primed for flourishing health. On the other hand, diets dominated by processed meats, sugary snacks, and fried foods are like weeds, crowding out nutrients and choking the potential for wellness. The worst offenders, when it comes to harmful foods, certain culprits stand out. Processed meats, for instance, pose significant dangers. Consuming just a small serving daily, such as a couple of slices of deli meat or a hot dog, can shave years off your life expectancy. In fact, these foods are classified alongside asbestos and tobacco as known carcinogens. While this classification reflects the strength of evidence rather than the degree of risk, the message is clear. Regular consumption of processed meats increases the likelihood of colorectal cancer by 18% for every 50 grams consumed daily. That's akin to breathing secondhand smoke day after day, an insidious threat hiding in plain sight. Other offenders include sugary beverages, which contribute to obesity and diabetes, and high-sodium foods, which silently elevate blood pressure. Chicken, often perceived as a healthier option, can be deceptively salty due to industry practices of injecting it with saline solutions. Some store-bought chicken breasts contain more sodium than an entire day's recommended limit, turning what seems like a wholesome choice into a hidden hazard. A new perspective on risk. To better understand the impact of these choices, consider the concept of micro-lives. One micro-life represents roughly half an hour of your remaining lifespan. Smoking 2 cigarettes, drinking a pint of beer, or carrying excess weight costs about 1 micro-life. By contrast, eating 5 servings of fruits and vegetables daily could add up to 4 additional years to your life. Exercise offers a compelling return on investment too. 20 minutes of activity might give you back an hour of life. Suddenly, those small decisions feel monumental. Take, for example, swapping a burger for a plant-based alternative. A single burger equates to losing a micro-life. 30 minutes gone. Is that meal worth the cost? Similarly, consuming eggs regularly, has been associated with increased mortality rates. Data from large-scale studies show that each additional half egg per day correlates with a 7% rise in all-cause mortality. Over time, these incremental losses accumulate, shaping the trajectory of our lives. Embracing nature's blueprint. Our bodies evolved over millions of years to thrive on a diet centered around plants. For most of human history, our ancestors relied on wild greens, seeds, nuts, and seasonal fruits. Their physiology adapted to extract maximum benefit from these nutrient-dense foods while minimizing exposure to cholesterol and saturated fats. Returning to this ancestral blueprint isn't about nostalgia. It's about aligning with the biological design that supports optimal function. Plant-based diets don't just reduce the intake of harmful substances. They flood the body with protective compounds like fiber, antioxidants, and phytonutrients. These elements work synergistically to combat inflammation, bolster immunity, and slow the aging process. Studies suggest that adopting such a diet could cut the risk of Alzheimer's disease by more than half and save billions in healthcare costs annually. Even adding a single extra serving of produce to your plate each day could significantly lighten the economic burden of chronic illness. Salt. The silent saboteur among the many dietary pitfalls, excessive salt consumption looms large. Historically, humans obtained only trace amounts of sodium through natural foods. Today, however, processed meals deliver tenfold the amount our bodies were designed to handle. This surplus wreaks havoc, driving up blood pressure and increasing the risk of heart attacks and strokes. Unlike indigenous populations who maintain stable blood pressure throughout their lives, modern societies see a steady climb as people age, a direct result of rampant sodium overload. Reducing salt doesn't mean sacrificing flavor. With a little creativity, herbs, spices, and citrus can transform dishes, awakening taste buds accustomed to blandness. Techniques like tongue cleaning can also enhance sensitivity to saltiness, making lower sodium options more satisfying. For those seeking convenience, potassium-based salt substitutes offer a promising solution. Swapping traditional table salt for potassium chloride not only lowers blood pressure, but also reduces the risk of cardiovascular events, effectively turning back the clock on age-related decline. Bridging the gap between science and practice. Despite overwhelming evidence supporting the power of nutrition, there remains a troubling disconnect between knowledge and action. Medical education often neglects the critical role of diet in health outcomes, leaving practitioners ill-equipped to guide patients toward better choices. Meanwhile, industries with vested interests perpetuate confusion, employing tactics reminiscent of Big Tobacco's playbook to downplay risks and sway public perception. Yet, change begins with awareness. Just as societal attitudes toward smoking shifted over decades, so too can we reimagine our relationship with food. By prioritizing whole, minimally processed ingredients and embracing the wisdom of nature, we reclaim control over our health destinies. Whether starting young or later in life, adopting a nutrient-rich diet promises tangible rewards. Years gained, vitality restored, and a legacy of well-being passed to future generations.